Welcome to a brand new episode of the Complete Collection series. This is a series where we look at NBA players from the past and the present and delve into their greatest stories. If you are new to this series, welcome. There is a playlist down below and on the screen right now that has each episode in the series. Today, we'll be looking at Allen Iverson's complete collection of stories, as many of you guys down below in the comment section recommended I do next. If you would like to be featured on the next episode, comment down below which player you'd like to see next in this series that hasn't previously been done. Without further ado, I won't keep you waiting. The only thing that I would love if you could quickly do is tap that like button because it really does help these videos out to reach more people. If you are new, hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date with all the new videos on the channel, and hit that notification button so you never miss an episode of this series. Without further ado, welcome to the complete collection of Allen Iverson's greatest stories.
I know that Allen Iverson is not the prime king. I know everybody don't like him. I know his history's been, well documented. But we're talking basketball. Y'all need to go back and look at the highlights.
My generation, AI was much the same. It always put you in jeopardy.
What were the players that you looked up to the most?
Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson.
Yeah, Michael Jordan, number one. Allen Iverson was number two.
Low key, I've always wanted to be like Allen Iverson.
You played against Allen, it was one of those things that he is the Red Bull.
Little guy's not supposed to be doing that. Little guy's not supposed to be crossing up the greatest player ever to play the game twice and not go anywhere. Little guy's not supposed to come in and get knocked to the floor and still come back up.
Yeah, I don't think we should judge Allen for the way that he wants to express himself.
I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Practice.
Talking about practice. We talk about practice?
You ready to go to practice before we get better, bro?
Practice? Not the game, you talking about practice?
Even practice.
Practice. We talking about practice.
This is the honest to God truth. I retired because of Allen Iverson. He came down and he did that crossover thing, and I tried it, and then he laid it up, and then he hit me on the butt running by, and I knew it was time to go.
He had such incredible speed and such a quick first step.
To be that quick and his energy is something that makes him remarkable.
When we hear words like one-word descriptions of you, I would say competitor. Who's on your short list of best competitors you've faced?
Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson are the two that come to mind immediately. In my generation, AI was much the same. I mean, from opening tip to the end, this guy was just going and going and going, and he'd always put you in jeopardy.
Talk to us about your relationship with Kobe and what it was like going to war with him over all these years.
He was
He really admired you, bro.
Yeah, he was the ultimate. He was the ultimate competitive man. Like,
You lucky Allen Iverson not 6'8". 6'6", that's what he always
that's what that
say.
man said, man.
You lucky Allen Iverson.
When I heard
6'6",
that, it made me feel so good because the respect that he gave me, it was like he know.
He drove me to be as more obsessive about the game because I had to figure out how to solve that problem,
You know how killers respect killers. You know what I mean? And that's what it was. He knew who I was. I know who he is. He gave me that push. I gave it to him. I love the stories. Just for people to put me in the same sentence with Kobe, just make me feel good about my grind, my mom, my family, my teammates, y'all, my homeboys. Just is a tribute to y'all.
And I told him when I saw him here this weekend, I said, man, you don't realize how much you pushed me. And I don't think people nowadays realize how great you were as a player and how big of a problem you were for defenses.
To put me in the same category as Kobe Bryant, like, that's so dope to me.
Rick, I remember my first year coaching in Toronto. I'm in this little restaurant I go to, a little quiet place. In walks AI. We got a Sunday afternoon game.
12 o'clock. And AI is hanging pretty good, and it's early. And I'm sending them drinks, and I'm like, AI, keep drinking up, keep eating. And he looks at me as he's drinking one of my drinks. He said, Coach, it's not going to work. I love Toronto. I like to put a show on here. And he commenced to coming out and giving us about 49 the next day at 12 o'clock.
Nice delivery to Iverson. Comes up, scored, got it to Iverson. In this building on draft night. Here's Iverson free from to go one-on-one with Calderon. Now comes up on a crossover, written.
Allen Iverson, Chuck, those numbers say it all.
To me, pound for pound, one of the most toughest competitors in the NBA. He knew he was going to get hit, knew he was going to get beat, but yet he kept getting up and he kept coming. And so, like Grant said, much deserved, one of the toughest players ever in the history of this game for his size.
Who was like the hardest player that like every year you're like, yeah, I gotta be ready for this guy? Like
Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Allen Iverson. because you know, I always say like Allen was that he was like that white boy player in high school that played balls hard, like sweating on you playing.
Okay,
but he was the talent. You know, it was the talent. You know what I mean? So you know, he's playing 150 miles an hour the whole time. Like, so you're gonna go from him getting a steal here to him saving the ball, jumping 4 rows into the what's the name? Somehow he got out of that and made a layup.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? Like, you know what I mean? That was his hustles. Like, you know, if you know a ball got knocked loose and you like jogging, I was about to go out of bounds, he sprinting to it, die. Like, he was one of those guys. So when you played against Allen, it was one of those things that he is the Red Bull.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, trying to stop him from scoring was a whole issue on itself.
Yeah.
Because, you know, green light, you know, he had no conscience. He's trying to score 50, 60.
Yeah.
But it's matching his energy was what people didn't understand. We got to match his energy to even compete with the 60.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those guys, you got to pick him up, you know, 64 feet. You got to do all that. It's like, it's because, you know, like on offense, you got to try to get him tired when you don't have the ball because you don't want him to rest because he's doing the same thing. Like, it was just, you know, it was like, you'd rather guard, to be honest, you'd rather guard Kobe.
Really?
Than Allen.
Why?
Because with Kobe, he's going to go to his spots. You know, it's going to, I'm walking down, come on, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
You already know, you
know what's coming.
You're going to get someone who's trying to score 60, but there's different types of 60.
Yeah.
This guy he's a 60 headache.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those 60 headaches where it's like, it's just a nonstop coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I know, you know, Kobe got the ball every single time, but it didn't actually feel like it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it went through offense. You know, went through offense, he cut, passed it, backdoor, this. Okay, he came to he looked around, he didn't like it, passed it, reposted it. Okay, whoo, got some breaks.
Yeah.
Allen, as soon as he got the ball, he went to go try to score. If he didn't, he passed it, got it back, then tried to score.
Yeah.
He didn't like that, he got it, then tried to score.
Yeah.
It's like, God, like you.
Yeah.
So you're sitting here like,
Yeah.
Stop me real quick.
Yeah.
and don't have on number 3.
Yeah.
If you had on number 3, he took it personal.
I'm going to zero in on a date. We just celebrated the anniversary, March 12th, 1997, your rookie year. The team at this point of the season is 16-45, and you're playing the defending champion Chicago Bulls at what was then the First Union Center. They were 54-8 coming in.
As a kid, Allen had bragged to his coach about taking MJ. And now, he'd finally get his chance.
And at one point during the game, you're isolated on Michael Jordan.
When I grabbed the ball, I heard Phil Jackson yell, Michael. That play, I remember that play vividly because Michael Jordan was my hero. Everybody know that. He was my favorite player, he was my idol. I literally wanted to be like Mike. I remember the first time I played against him.
And I've heard you say multiple times that when you saw him for the first time on the court, it was like the Chappelle Show. He had the aura. You could literally see the aura around him.
Like, I literally seen his aura. Like it looked like he was glowing.
Talk a little about Allen Iverson for a second. First of all, two-part question. I want to know what you think of his game. He had 32 points, but 9 turnovers. And number two, for a rookie, does he talk a little too much on the court?
Well, I mean, he's very confident, and I think I can understand where he's coming from. He wants to be respected in this league, and he certainly has the right skills.
It was Mike. It was my idol. It was my hero. And I got a lot of flack from my teammates. You know what I mean? Because they were like, you know, basically teasing me like, you're not gonna play your game tonight, huh? Because you're playing against your guy. You're not gonna come with it, huh? I'm like, nah, you know what I mean? So I was being this tough guy with them. I used to always tell my family and my friends and my teammates in college and high school, said, you know, even the guys on my team for the Sixers said, if I get the greatest player to ever play the game on me, I'm gonna try my move on him.
Is he the quickest guy you've faced?
He's very quick. Him as well as Stoudemire, and I think both of those guys are very, very quick. And as long as we come up with the win, I can care less.
Thanks, Mike.
First on the
So
team.
I remember I came off a screen or something, and I heard Phil Jackson say his name. Mike called him to switch out on me.
Iverson has Jordan. The crowd is into it.
I gave him a little cross to see would he bite on it. I let him set his feet, and then I stepped it back again.
Allen shakes free, gets two! Mike said no. Allen said yes. The bucket, the crowd loves it.
And I gave him a little one, and he went for it. And I was like, oh yeah, I got his ass now.
Here he was, a rookie coming into the league, going against the best player in the game, probably the best player in the history of the game. And it was sort of a statement play. He comes in and goes at him. They're switched off, and he crosses him up twice, hits a tough shot on him. Of course, the Bulls did win the game, but it was sort of like, you know, introducing Allen Iverson to the basketball world.
I don't know if I can say it in here, but it was like, MF, you don't love me, you wouldn't have crossed me like that. So it was Mike. I mean, the greatest player to ever play the game.
The great thing about it, I never had to guard him because I wasn't stupid enough to switch on him after I saw what he did to MJ.
Got a little guy's not supposed to be doing that. Little guy's not supposed to be crossing up the greatest player ever to play the game twice and not go anywhere. Little guy's not supposed to come in and get knocked to the floor and still come back up. Little guy's not supposed to do whatever he wants to do. Little guy's not supposed to be a three-time scoring champ. Four, excuse me. So that's why I think he had a bigger impact. I think people can relate to him more because it's not a lot of guys that are 7'11". It's not a lot of guys that are 7'1", but it's a lot of guys that are 6 foot, 5'9", 5'10".
And one story I have. We have a practice. He's going hard as I don't know what. The media's been on him, kind of all this, and he's just mad. He's quiet. He's not saying nothing. I'm like, oh, yeah, I feel something coming. Go to Milwaukee. It was the best game I've ever seen by a teammate in my life. He gave them 60-something, passing the ball, doing his thing. Was he a difficult player to play with? He only knows how to score. He only knows how to go hard. But I've never in my life, never, played with a player that played as hard as him on the court. Maybe Bobby Jackson, Doug Christie, other guys that played as hard. And so it's a lot of guys I know played this hard, but I've never been with somebody played as hard as him. And so when I see him going through all this, you know, I just hope that at the end of the day, because all we're talking about is basketball. He's not President Obama. All we're talking about is Boop. And if you look at him and what he did, man, you name me another guy with the heart he had every night. He used to wear hockey pads. You know the pads that go, you guys probably wore them too, the pads that go all the way around you. I used to see him after games, bruised, banged up, and his only thing was, yo, Wab, I gotta go hard. You know, if they watch me, this is the first night, this might be the first time anybody's ever come see me play. It's just an honor to watch that guy play, man, and I'm proud to say I played with him.
Justin Kimbrell said on that night he had 54 against
54, well, I lied, I put 6 on it. I put 6 on it, my bad.
I get it.
This is the second consecutive year that we've been up here on this stage. You've been nominated once again. Congratulations on that. How do you feel about that?
I feel very excited until I saw that Allen Iverson was nominated. So This is the honest to God truth. I retired because of Allen Iverson. He came down and he did that crossover thing, and I tried it, and then he laid it up, and then he hit me on the butt running by, and I knew it was time to go.
No, listen. I'll tell you a story. When I was a rookie, my first game, that I was, a man literally destroyed me. Like, I ain't never had nobody bust my ass before. Not for real, in my life. And I hadn't been killed like that before in my career, in my lifetime. And we played the Phoenix Suns, and KJ gave me 39, 9, and 9.
Kevin Johnson.
Yes. Ooh. And it was not off athletic ability or nothing like that. It was just, he was just so much smarter than me. He just knew how to play the game. You know what I mean? I was just a puppy.
Yeah.
And you know what you did to me. You know what you did. And I remember Maurice Cheeks was our coach. I remember Mo Cheeks telling me after the game, I sat in the locker room, I was crying. And I was actually crying in my locker. I never got destroyed like that.
Yeah.
You know, because I was crying. That was the honestly. I remember Mo Cheeks after the game telling me, like, you know, don't worry about it, AI. Don't worry about it, AI. One day you gonna get somebody 39, 9, and 9. Right. And
somebody getting us on tape, right? I made him cry.
Yeah, that was the only time somebody destroyed me. And I can remember I love Lou Williams, and I always think about one day at practice I had scored like 10 in a row on him.
Did Allen Iverson post up? Did he post up? I'm asking you a question. Did he post up? Well, then that's your fault, then, isn't it?
And Mo Cheeks said, and Lou was about to cry. And Mo Cheeks said, man, hold your head up. Don't cry. He do that to everybody.
That wasn't the truth. But the backstory to that particular day, we were giving him a hard time about practice. And he was like, I'm doing you a favor by not practicing. I take your self-esteem. And I said, oh, you must don't know me that well. And we began to go back and forth about him practicing. He eventually went and got dressed, and we battled it out. And obviously, he is a Hall of Famer. He did get the best of me that day. But I stood up for myself, you know, so I was proud of that. But he had one of those AI days in practice, and he just did whatever he wanted to do with me. So that
might be the first testimony about AI in practice. Right, there you go. We're talking about practice. There you go, not a game.
So there's a very iconic quote that you said, I thought it was lit. You said, the better you look, the better you play. And with that, let's just talk about the legend that is the arm sleeve.
Right.
Conspiracy theorists will say you used it to cover up tats. Other people say you had a little situation with your elbow and then you wore it for every game for the rest of your career. How did this sleeve come to be?
You ever played sports?
Of course, I play basketball.
Okay, so you're right-handed.
Yep.
So the right side of my body, whenever I would fall or something, I would fall on the strongest part of my body all the time. So when I was in Georgetown, I used to fall all the time, whatever. And my friends used to tease me because I had a big bursa sac on my arm. And then I went and had surgery on it, and it was still flaring up. So I would have to get it drained before every game. And when it all didn't come out, they gave me, it wasn't what people wear now.
That we see now, right?
Yeah,
right.
It was just some cloth, and it pushed it in. You know what I mean? So then they made one for me, and I wore it, and then my elbow got better, but I got used to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, well, let me just throw some styles with it. So then I started putting the spider webs on it. In the Olympics, I put the USA on it, and then I just started doing stuff with it.
Do you remember the first time you saw someone else wearing a sleeve? Because all right.
I know the first time that I couldn't believe Kobe did it. I couldn't believe he did it. But the first time I got excited about it is when I seen LeBron with the headband on and the sleeve.
LeBron told the Bleacher Report, I didn't want to be Michael or Magic. I wanted to be Allen Iverson.
And that's the guy that wanted to emulate me when
he said it. I didn't want to be
Michael.
So when I
seen it, I was like, oh my God, that's dope. And it was cool for him to do it and paying homage to me. And he's colossal. Right. You know what I mean? He's a colossal superstar. Right. You know what I mean? And it was just dope.
Pound for pound, probably one of the best players that we've seen, and his heart, could never be judged. What he was able to give to this Sixers franchise, man, and I think anytime you bring Allen Iverson's name up, they will always think great things about him because of his ability to play the game at a high level every night.
Like, all right, some of these little dudes still, respect you and respect what you made them think when they was creating their own game.
Gary, when I say Allen Iverson, what do you think of?
A great scorer, a great competitor. He did a lot of things that people didn't understand. He was there every night like I was, and everybody's looking at him like this, that because of his attitude and he hasn't played and he tried to get back in the NBA, but look at him as what he did when he was with the Sixers. Mm-hmm. He was a great competitor. He went at everybody. He was the scorer that he was. He would never be another little man scorer like that ever in history, I don't think, of way he can play basketball.
Gary, what were the biggest challenges in guarding Allen Iverson?
My biggest challenge was to not let him cross me open and break my ankles, for one, and then plus, you couldn't let him have both worlds. Him and Tim Hardaway wanted both worlds. They wanted to break you down and go to the bucket and then plus shoot the jump shot, and both of them could do that. So when my thing was, let me just keep him in front of me and hope that he doesn't make jump shots and with it contested, and let him beat me that way instead of beating me all the ways, because when he penetrates on me, he's breaking everything
Where
down.
do you put him in your top players to have to defend? Where is he on that scale?
Oh, he's up there. I think he's got to be in my top five.
Top five?
He has to be in my top five because he was the hardest player because he's so small and he was so quick. Mm-hmm. And he can do both. He can shoot and he can drive and he'll finish.
It was one game where he was killing us in Philly. He was killing, our guards. And Doc gave me that look like, it's your assignment now. The dude never stops running. So I got to score and I got to slow him down. I was so tired after the game. I was the last one in the shower just soaking and trying to figure out why am I so tired from guarding and chasing this dude all over the court. But he was a joy to compete against.
I want to start off, I want to throw this at Kyle.
This is an inaugural question every time.
Who's the first person in the league to bust your ass? you knew this oh man, this the league, it's real.
This man to my right.
Oh, yeah, now this is good.
This is my first year, my second year in the league, and I was just playing. We was in Memphis. And I remember something happened, and the referee, I was like, man, what you want me to do? The referee said, man, you know what? He one of the hardest mother effers the referee there is. I said, so what am I supposed to do? Yeah, stay out of his way. I said, man, how am I supposed to do that? But, it showed me the ropes, and, it was a lesson that I learned. You know what I mean?
I think for a guy his size, he was the most intimidating player in the NBA. I mean, you think about a guy 6 foot, 160 pounds, he was intimidating because physically he had a level of speed that nobody had ever seen. You know about the killer crossover, but to see Webb's point, the athleticism and then the relentless attack mode that he was in. Because that was the thing that made him so tough, because some guys you would play against, and Rick, they're gonna take 16, 18 shots a game. You're gonna have an opportunity to defend them. Iverson would go out there and take 35, 40 shots. He was in attack mode the entire game, and that just put a tremendous amount of pressure on 5 guys defensively. It wasn't just the point guard. I just never seen anybody like him.
He's just fearless. That's what I respect most about him. He brought it night in and night out. You talk about guys that had an attack mode like Jordan and Kobe, they're always compared. He's on par with them in terms of his aggressive attack to the game. You saw him tear up a little bit when he was talking about this year. This was the NBA Finals, 2001.
2001.
But, he went out and single-handedly carried them to that first game win in that series, and we fortunately came back and won that. But when I think of AI, he ranks up there, man. Chris, you saying top 5 guards. He definitely, for pound,
he reminds me of Charles Barkley.
But
Yeah, it's a good
what he reminds
comparison.
me of.
Position-wise.
Top 5, maybe a 2 guards, point guards, depending where you put them, and if you move Pippen to the 3 of them.
You start moving guys around.
We'll finish the argument.
I got him in the top 10 for sure.
I reminded Rick, 48 in Game 1 of the 1 Finals against the Lakers. Only playoff loss that the Lakers had that year.
Yeah, we were all trying to guard him that night.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
In the category of missed opportunities and what if and living totally up to potential, does Allen Iverson fit in there at all for any of you here?
No.
No, I don't think so.
He reached it to.
He maxed out.
He maxed out. I don't think there's any guard that size other than Isaiah that's going to have that career. I don't think anyone.
I think a lot of the guards like Ty Lawson, they thanking Allen Iverson, thanking guys like Isaiah to say, you know what, if I'm 5'10", 5'11", or even 6 foot, I can use my quickness. If I got a jump shot, use the pick and roll. Allen Iverson said that he can get knocked down 100 times, he's getting right back up. Yeah, but
being at 2.
I think
he maxed out. Yeah, I don't think he. You won't look at Allen Iverson and say he did not reach his potential. I mean, he was MVP of our league once. You know,
4-time scoring champion.
Yeah, so
there's nothing. If he get more out of that, he gets more out of that. Yeah, unbelievable talent, and an unbelievable culture impact. He made your appearance, your demeanor, your attitude that people thought were threatening, not non-threatening,
right?
And realized that it's just a way of.
Was that good?
I think so. I really do. I think overall, he had his qualms, things about he probably should have done better. But in terms of a breaking down a wall and a barrier of stereotypes, I think he changed some of that. And I think that he made guys who wouldn't wear braids wear braids. He might have, I don't even know if Tim
Some people
Duncan...
wearing braids too long now.
Yeah, true.
Too long, yeah.
But I'm saying,
too long.
it was a stereo, it was a profile. And I think, the way he dressed and what he did, he kind of changed the whole culture and the attitude. And you had guys, I even think maybe Tim Duncan had some braids at one time, you know what I mean? So it's kind of all, he just changed your thought process in a good regard in that way, even though there were certain things he could have did better.
Who's your point guard?
I'm gonna go with AI, because he was fearless. He was like me. My thing was any little guy that came in there, I'm gonna touch him up, Ernie. I'm gonna touch him up and lay him down. But he was the only one, besides Gary, he was the only one that just kept coming back.
On the rebound, Iverson putting the move on Bryant. Rejected by O'Neal. 5 blocked shots for Shaquille. O'Neal, while in the midst of that sweeping hook, changed his mind. That was a pass. Iverson around Bryant. Oh, what a move by Allen Iverson.
So I want to ask you guys, in your career, who did you not want to face the most?
AI was mine.
All right.
I loved it. It's not that I didn't want to face him, but knowing that it's going to be an uphill battle. I always had a tough time with little, really fast guys. And as you can see right there, he got by me pretty easy.
Bubba Chuck!
But he was just fearless.
Oh, but
he was fearless. I mean, he never let up. I mean, he was a warrior. You couldn't bully him. I could bully a lot of guys. You couldn't bully him. I mean, AI was my guy for sure.
Do you remember how many points you had in that game against Iverson when he scored 60?
No, I don't. He scored 60. We lost. It was a tough loss. So I don't remember.
You had 16.
I had 16.
You had 16. Just rubbing it in a little bit more here, Greg.
Yeah, hey,
Newsflash. Whenever they ask you a question like that, they already know that.
They know the answer. Okay, I appreciate that, vet.
No banana in the tailpipe, okay?
I wore number 3 because of Iverson. He changed the whole culture of the game. And, one of my pound for pound best player to ever play, 6 foot, 155, but the stuff he was doing was unheard of, man, unseen. So, I got tremendous amount of respect for Allen Iverson. The way he changed the game, it was an honor just to be able to play against him
the 2 or 3 years he was in the league when I got in.
I really looked up to AI. You know, he had heart, carried his team, he scored, he played D, and he was small. You know, it would have been crazy. I think that would have been the person that probably would have made me be starstruck a little bit. You know, when I finally played against Kobe, it was my first game, and I was like, that's Kobe.
You know, some guys wear it as a fad now and stuff like that, but that's Allen Iverson. When I was a kid, I wanted braids because of Allen Iverson. You know, I wear number 3 the way that I play because of Allen Iverson. So it was tough to see him retire because, you know, he's AI. But like I said, it's a few guys that I played against in the league. I'll never forget the first time I played against him, and he was one of them.
He's an icon around the world, and he's pound for pound one of the greatest that's ever played in professional sports.
AI has been doing it for years. You know, his crossovers, his toughness. One game in Philly, he was just racking the points up.
Iverson finds his way in for 2. How did he do that?
When I just, found myself looking, I'm like, this guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, Michael Jordan, number 1. Allen Iverson's number 2. And obviously Kobe's number 3. My top 3 favorite players of all time.
Steph, I noticed that you ditched the sleeve, but what was kind of the decision behind that? Is your elbow feeling better?
Low key, I've always wanted to be like Allen Iverson. That was the only way I could really come close, but it just wasn't feeling right. Just kind of a split decision, just whatever. It's accessories, it don't really matter.
And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please help me out by hitting that like button, subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification button so you never miss an episode. I'll be sure to catch you guys in my next one. I'm out. Peace.